So I've seen on the big screen three times now the Ryan Coogler 2025 African American vampire film Sinners, and it was really fascinating at multiple times. So this is a Jim Crow era 1932 historical period piece, and it is people who are working on land, African Americans who are working on lands that used to be plantations that are no longer plantations, and they are literally picking cotton, right? Which is and even that is like a huge part of the film, like because first of all, I think Ryan Coogler has standing and he can actually tell these stories. It would be very difficult for almost any other director to even touch this material because it's so fraught with issues in American history, right? And so what was really interesting was you reach this point, right? And they show African American people picking cotton, and at multiple points, different characters will say, "I'm going to go do something because my day is free because I have met my quota," right? And this was really fascinating because I think we focused a lot on 1775 to 1865. We fought a war in America over that horrible period in history where we were forcing people to labor, right? African Americans to labor. And then okay, that's over now, right? And now what's really fascinating is it was really fascinating to me about about in this Jim Crow era, the quota being done. They had met the quota and now they were free for the day and they could go do what they wanted, right? And so their freedom started when their job was done. And what really was interesting is I think it's so difficult to dungeon master and a lot of people really struggle with it. And one of the reasons why is there's no way to tell when the work is done. When you've done enough to be free to put it down and say I'm ready for Saturday, right? And so I was really fascinated by this quota thing because it's hard to imagine that there were any good parts of working in that time, but it was better, between 1935 and 1865. It was certainly better than 1775 to 1865. And this quota part was part of it. And it was really fascinating because I think, people are extremely hesitant to pick up the Dungeon Master slot. And I think one of the reasons why is there's no established quota. There's no amount of time that you should be preparing for a 4 hour game. Do you prepare for 8 hours or 12 hours or 1 hour? And people just don't know.